Seahawks have been established as a 4.5-point favorite over the Patriots in Super Bowl 60. I saw some final numbers for Matthew Stafford. If you include, 4,700 yards, 46 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. One of his best performances ever. Then you include the postseason, where he played really well, including yesterday. And I think he has a player option for this next season. And Sean McVay didn't want to answer the question. Matthew Stafford didn't want to answer the question either. Big Mike Golic, he was in Denver. He was part of the analysis on Westwood One Radio for the AFC title game between the Patriots and Broncos. And, of course, co-host of Golic and Golic on FanDuel Sports Network. Big Mike, good to talk to you again. What were you expecting in that game?
Well, I wasn't expecting two separate games, that's for sure. I mean, you look at the highlights of the first half, looks like a normal game, and it was beautiful. I was down on the field before the game, and it was 20 degrees. It was sunny. There was no wind, and that's how the first half played. And then the second half, it just swept in. A lot of wind, a lot of snow, so it really kind of changed the dynamics of the game. And I'm sure the coaches are checking this and knew hour by hour, but I don't think anybody expected it to be as bad as it was in the second half, where both offenses were just muted.
If you knew that the conditions were going to be like that, would Sean Payton have changed his decision, do you think, with that fourth down call early?
Sean Payton should have kicked it anyway, and I said it. You know, it wasn't a hindsight for me doing the broadcast. They were lining up to go for it, and I said, "Why doesn't anybody take 3 points anymore? This is a rock fight game. This is a low-scoring game. Even if it didn't snow in the second half, it was going to be a low-scoring game. You take the points when you can get it." And then if you decide to go for it, you had a running play and you change it to a passing play. That pass play, Dan, where the rollout of the quarterback, that's going to get quick pressure. And normally you have a guy wide open without getting too much into the weeds and doing the former football player analysis of the DB, you know, letting the one receiver go and playing off on the other receiver, blah, blah, blah. It was great coverage by New England is what it was. But it's a play that lets quick pressure come on the quarterback, and it's a second-string quarterback who isn't used to that. I have no idea why you ran that play, and as I said on the broadcast before the play, I would have kicked it, gone up 10-0.
But do you think how much of this is gut, how much of this is analytics for Sean Payton?
And that's a surprising thing, Dan. If you break down fourth down opportunities, we know Dan Campbell is a fourth down god. You know, he's going to go for it. But in the regular season, the Broncos were 10 of 20. They only went for it 20 times, which is a low amount in the NFL. They did not go for it a lot. And I think too much is put on analytics and not enough on gut of what I just said. It's a 7-0 game. It's a rock fight. Offenses are having a tough time moving the ball. Get points. Points are at a premium. Get points. Get up 2 scores with a backup quarterback. I think way too much is laid on analytics and not enough on, hey, take the 3 points.
Patriots haven't been scoring, but they don't give up many points either. That defense is very underrated. So what do you take away from that game, or maybe this postseason, starting with Drake Maye?
Well, I mean, they're a clean team. And we talked to a couple of players during the week on Mike and I's show, and the word they always bring up with Mike Vrabel is Vrabel stresses accountability. You're accountable for your job on the field. Do your job. Trust your teammate next to you that he's going to do his job. Pursue the ball, which is a Vrabel trademark, obviously, as a former linebacker, defensive player, and play a clean game. They were one of the most least penalized teams in the NFL. They kind of play the old Belichickian way of let the other team make the mistake. And you saw Denver make the mistake. I thought it was a mistake not going for it on fourth down, but then the backward pass by Jarrett Stidham that led to New England's only touchdown. That was a key mistake in the game. They play clean, they play accountable, and they play aggressive.
You have the call that Drake Maye calls on the bootleg, and nobody else knew it. This is a second-year player, Mike, on the road with a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, this is Josh McDaniels. I mean, that was a twofold. It was one, it was a safe play. So the ball wasn't going in the air. Now, Drake Maye has had trouble holding onto the ball. Yeah. He fumbled the ball 14 times in the regular season and 6 in the postseason. But it was a very gutsy call that he was either going to make it or he wasn't, right? There was no other way that was going to happen. The outside backer got beat, got sucked in and because they ran the ball so much in the second half, which helped play action pass, which helped a bootleg like that ice the game.
I thought he had ample time, opportunities to run even more in that game.
Yeah.
I really thought that he was going to be their best weapon, and, he would throw it away. They ran it a lot, but it felt like there were openings there. And I wonder, against Seattle, if, you're having a hard time with the pressure with the Broncos, he might have to be a Josh Allen-like figure in this Super Bowl.
Listen, we've seen Josh Allen win games with his legs, and that's what Drake Maye did, especially in the second half when there was going to be no offense because of the weather. He was able to do it with his legs, and that was a planned boot run for the first down. But the runs he had scrambling, and by the way, going into the game, he had 27 scramble first downs, which was the most of any quarterback in the league. So he was dangerous with his legs and moving the sticks. But if you saw, most of his scrambles were up the gut because Denver does such a nice job of bringing pressure from the outside, normally from the inside. Their 2 D tackles have combined the most pressures in the league this year. But there were holes that opened up that he could step up into and take off. And at times, if you're caught playing man in the secondary, there's a lot of green to run, and he took advantage of it.
The Rams get eliminated, and now you have the Matthew Stafford question. We always talk about, it's hard to walk away from a game like this. You want to come back. Most of the time, he stayed healthy. He's got another year left if he wants to come back. And you've got Puka Nacua. You got tight ends. You got Sean McVay. You got a running game. Why wouldn't he come back?
I would think, first off, I understand reporters have to ask the question after the game, but you're never going to get an answer from a coach or a quarterback on what they're going to do. And I always feel, Dan, at the end of a season, every player is so mentally and physically drained that that's not the time to make a decision. And most players don't make a decision. Or if they make a decision right at the end of the season, a lot of times they change it after they've had a couple of months to relax the body and relax the mind and really take a breath and think about, because what makes somebody retire, Dan, is the off-season work. It's not the games. The games are the cherry on top. It's from February to August, when no one's watching, when you got to put in the most work to give yourself the best chance to be a great player during the regular season. And players, when they don't want to do that anymore and know that they won't be at their best if they don't put the work in, that's when they retire. So it's got to be a couple of months, or maybe he knows already he's going to come back. I think he's going to come back. I mean, remember his back in preseason? We thought, my God, he may not even start the season, and he's going to be the MVP this year. So I definitely think he's coming back.
Would you use one of your first-round draft picks on a quarterback?
Not in this draft class, no. This draft class, where we talked about this possible draft class at the beginning of the year and where it is now, absolutely not.
Ty Simpson, if he's available at 13?
You know what? The one good thing about Ty Simpson is, or if he goes later in the first round, is he'll sit. He only had 15 starts, and it has been proven time and time again. Less starts in college, less success early on in the NFL. But I have my questions about Ty Simpson, so no, I would not.
Are you ready for the Sam Darnold redemption tour?
Good for him, right? Obviously, he has the issue every now and then of throwing interceptions, but he's had 2 great regular seasons. This was a great postseason. And how about it? I know the fact that the stat is everywhere. He's in the Super Bowl before Baker Mayfield, who was the number 1 pick, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, all in that same 2018 draft. So, yeah, congrats to him.
A couple other topics. Mike McCarthy to the Steelers. Your reaction was?
Well, I mean, listen, he's a Pittsburgh guy. And now the thing about it is you're not going to get the long tenured coach like you did with Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. You know, McCarthy, I think, is 62 or 63 years old. So you're not going to get a 10 or 15 year run. I would doubt it. So, but he's a Pittsburgh guy. So, I mean, this cycle of coaches is bringing back coaches who have been head coaches. And right now we've had obviously one coordinator get a job as a first-time head coach, but it seems to be bringing back the former head coaches.
Is it fair to, if you're an owner, to be that you don't take the excuse of, hey, I can't turn it around overnight? If you look at what some of these coaches have done, certainly what Vrabel did in New England.
Well, I mean, we've lost patience in the NFL. At least some teams have, right? I think Tennessee, do you think they regret getting rid of Vrabel? And Pittsburgh has been the ultimate kind of just relax and let our coach work through it. But I don't think there's enough patience in the NFL, and you make changes. And then you see where a cycle goes. Is it a lot of first-time head coaches, or is it coaches? Again, if you were a head coach and now you're either not coaching or you're a coordinator and you go back to being a head coach, most times you have a losing record. That's why you're not a head coach anymore, right? But you're getting kind of redone in different colors of another team. And that seems to be now the rest of the coach. I don't know who's going to coach Cleveland. Everybody keeps shutting them down and not going on to take their personality test and the IQ test or whatever the hell they're trying to make coaches. Like some of those teams like Las Vegas, like Arizona, like Cleveland are going to have to get first-time head coaches.
I brought this up last week. It didn't go over well, but I stand by it. If I'm the Raiders, I look at trading out of that top pick with Fernando Mendoza, at least shop it, because I can't bring a good quarterback into a bad situation. I have to build a better situation to bring the quarterback in. And you need more than just a quarterback, because you're going to put him in there and he could turn out to be David Carr or Tim Couch, where you just go, man, sorry, we didn't have anything around you. It's not an indictment on him as much as it is the Raiders. Your thoughts?
It's a viable thought. It is. Now, you have to look at both sides of it, right? And you absolutely should answer the phone and see what kind of a haul you can get, especially now since this draft class really kind of went in the tank, quite honestly. So that makes that pick and that quarterback even more valuable to a team to maybe give up more. And if you get a haul to the point where you think you can't pass it up, the other side of that is, Dan, the quarterback position is the most overvalued position on the field. And it all depends. It doesn't matter what you think, doesn't matter what I think, doesn't matter what any former player thinks. It only matters what the Las Vegas Raiders have as a grade for Fernando Mendoza. And if they have a true franchise grade for him, then you have to take him. You can't pass on him to your thought of getting a bunch of other players and have that guy hit somewhere else. That's the worst ego hit that a GM and ownership can make, is passing on a franchise quarterback. If their grade is a little lower on Mendoza, then you actually sing his praises and look for the best bidder out there and get what you can for him.
Did you like playing in the snow?
Oh, I loved it. The most memorable snow game I had was 93 when I was with the Dolphins. We were playing Dallas, and we had that short chip shot field goal to win it. It was blocked, and Leon Lett came and slid and tried to recover the ball when it passed the line of scrimmage. Fumble, we recovered, kicked the field goal, and won. Oddly enough, that was our last win of the season, and that was Dallas went on to win the Super Bowl that year after that. I loved it because, Dan, I know this is hard to believe, but I was not that great of an athlete in the NFL. And playing in the snow brought everybody down to my level, which I enjoyed.
Great to talk to you. Tell your son we said hello. Thank you, buddy.
I will. Thanks, Dan.
That's Mike Golic Sr., co-host of Golic and Golic on FanDuel Sports Network, and he was there, Westwood 1, for the Patriots and the Broncos.